2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 world championships in a row. 3 with Honda, then the move to Yamaha and 2 more. Proving that the rider, not the bike, makes the difference. Proving perhaps that Valentino Rossi is the greatest motorcycle racer of all time. But then, 2006, machine problems, human errors, and injuries. While Nicky Hayden is on a roll, racking up victories, podiums and points, taking the contest all the way to the final race in Valencia. Holding his nerve to the end, the Kentucky kid seizes the crown as Rossi slips and falls. Loser. Well, what is it that racers say about second place? And now they're on him, the new breed. Younger, hungrier, faster, pressure like never before. Casey Stoner, the fastest rider Rossi's ever encountered. He wins 10 races in 2007. Rossi, just 4. A new low for the Italian. A stunning triumph for the Australian. Spain's Dani Pedrosa is the runner-up. In third place, Valentino Rossi. Third, and hurt. 3 broken bones in his hand after a vicious crash in practice for the final race, caused by a machine problem. He makes it to the start in Valencia, but not to the finish. Another machine problem. Adding insult to injury, Yamaha signs Jorge Lorenzo as their second rider for 2008. For the future, in other words. Now the enemy is in the building. Lorenzo arrives in the Yamaha garage to find that Rossi's had a wall built down the middle of it to shut out his so-called teammate. But he can't build a wall on the track. Lorenzo takes pole at his first MotoGP race in Qatar. Easy. He's on the podium at the second race in Spain and wins the third in Portugal. Easy. And then he crashes. And crashes. And crashes. And puts himself in hospital. But Casey Stoner is still there. After some teething trouble with the 2008 Ducati, the reigning world champion is going faster than ever. A 3-win blitz in mid-season, blocking Rossi's title charge. Time to fight back. Laguna Seca. A duel in the California sun. As close to a fist fight as you can get on a motorcycle.
Some of the passing manoeuvres were maybe a little bit too much and past the point of fair or aggressive.
We make a lot of overtaking, quite aggressive, but we never touch each other. My style to race is try to never give up. Anyway, I enjoy the battle.
Stoner and his team don't like it, but everybody else does. The Australian falters. 2 crashes at Brno and Misano. And worse, a wrist injury. Rossi is relentless. He wins 6 of the remaining 8 races. Stoner, 2. The Italian is king again, and making history. Only one rider, that other Italian god Giacomo Agostini, has ever recaptured the crown after losing it 2 years in a row. Agostini managed it once, in 1975, but he finished 7th the following season and retired the year after that. In 2009, Valentino Rossi sets out to win it again. A new record in his sights and no thoughts of retirement in his head. there are only three problems: Jorge Lorenzo, Casey Stoner, and Dani Pedrosa. It's time to go racing, and Casey Stoner is ready. He had an operation to fix his wrist in November. He's on an all-new Ducati. He was fastest at the pre-season test in March. And now he's qualified half a second clear of Rossi. But he does have one worry. This year the fuel allowance for the race has been cut by 1 litre. Ducati are not totally sure that their bike will make the distance. Stoner makes a lightning start, then improvises economy mode.
Beginning the race, I was trying to run more corner speed and keep the bike flowing in a higher gear so we didn't use so much fuel.
With 10 laps to go, Stoner is 2 seconds ahead of Rossi. We know that Stoner is very fast from the beginning. For one part of the race I was able to go like him, but not for all the race distance.
What Rossi doesn't know is that Stoner has been riding conservatively. With 7 laps to go and fuel enough in the tank, the Australian shows Rossi what he can do. Lorenzo slips back to 5th behind Capirossi and Dovizioso. He knows he can go faster. It's a confidence thing. Under new rules, the bikes are now all on Bridgestone tyres. Rossi and Stoner were already on Bridgestone in 2008, but Lorenzo was on Michelin. The Spaniard is still getting used to the Bridgestones. They behave a little differently at the limit, and it's a knife edge where the rubber meets the road.
Stoner and Valentino, they are a little bit stronger than us. They are more experienced with the Bridgestone tire, and we are still improving.
But now's no time to play it safe. 5th place is not okay. What happened to Dani Pedrosa in Qatar? He qualified 14th and finished 11th. In Japan, he qualifies 11th. What happened? Pedrosa was racing injured in the second half of 2008. When he crashed out of the lead in Germany in July, he broke several bones in his hands and wrist. He crashed again in Australia in October, a knee injury which required surgery in the winter. By March and the pre-season test in Qatar, he was almost back to full fitness. Then he crashed heavily and re-injured the knee which had just been repaired.
Just getting a little bit more used to ride, because long time not riding that fast, and I need more laps.
Pedrosa ruled the world in the smaller categories, but he's fast becoming MotoGP's chronically wounded warrior. Maybe the big bikes are a step too far for the diminutive Spaniard. He's by far the smallest rider in the Premier class. Some say this gives him an advantage. Because he's lighter, he can accelerate faster. But really it's a disadvantage. Taller riders with longer arms and legs can muscle the MotoGP machines around more easily. Stoner and Rossi are still a step ahead of Lorenzo. Stoner's qualifying time is just 0.05 of a second slower than Rossi's. Lorenzo is half a second down. Then he makes a bad start. The pressure's on.
I didn't do a very good start. I finished the first lap in 4th. I had to ride as best as I can to get the victory.
As you might expect, Jorge Lorenzo is very happy with his win in Japan. As you might also expect, his teammate is not. Lorenzo sees himself as Valentino Rossi's equal, and he means to demonstrate it. For 2009, his race suit is styled like the world champions. One leg of Rossi's leathers is coloured his trademark yellow. In 2009, Lorenzo is stepping out with one red leg. The Spaniard has added another Rossi-style design touch. The Italian's crash helmet features a sun and a moon. Lorenzo's 2009 helmet has a halo and devil horns. Head games. The Spanish Grand Prix, pandemonium in the Andalusian sunshine.
Jerez is unbelievable. If there is one track to take some risk to win, is Jerez.
It's a great track, a lot of crowd. We hope for a good weather and we hope for a good show.
Jerez is one of Rossi's favourite tracks. He's won here 7 times, but he's off the pace in qualifying, 4th on the grid. On pole, his teammate, second to Lorenzo by 1,000th of a second, his Spanish rival Dani Pedrosa. They both want this one. The two of them may be fellow countrymen, but they are not friends. When Pedrosa won the race in 2008 and Lorenzo finished 3rd, the King of Spain had to physically force them to shake hands. Pedrosa is confident after his success in Japan.
I think nobody expected that. After 6 months with problems in my knee, not possible riding and always scared, crashing and surgeries in the middle, I just can say thanks to the doctors.
Pedrosa flies off the line. This is what he loves to do, get out in front and go. Rossi's in 4th place behind Lorenzo. The Jerez track is hot and slippery, but the world champion is feeling good.
My bike today worked very well. I'm so fast with the sliding tire. I know I have a great pace and it's possible to arrive at the victory.
If ever there was a time and a place to steal Lorenzo's thunder, this is it. Rossi's passed his teammate on lap 2. Next up, Stoner and Pedrosa.
In that situation, Dani is always very difficult to catch. So I try to stay concentrated, to push. I was able to improve my pace.
Stoner's new bike is revealing a dark side. The 2009 Ducati is very different from the other MotoGP machines. Instead of a conventional frame, sections of carbon fibre bolted to the front and back of the engine hold the machine together. The engine is now a structural part of the chassis instead of being cradled by a frame. It's a radical, ultra-rigid answer to the question all the engineers face. How do you put over 250 horsepower on the ground through a rubber contact patch the size of a credit card? As Stoner pushes his bike to the limit to stay ahead of Lorenzo, he finds himself fighting to keep the thing on 2 wheels.
Jorge started to catch me, so I thought, I'd dig in, I'd try a little bit harder for them those last laps. I lost the front a lot of times and was lucky enough to save him, and hopefully in the future races we don't have to push quite so hard as this.
I was to take so many risks to pass Casey. When he noticed that I came, he improved his lap time. So it was difficult to catch him, and I had to take so many risks.
Win here in Jerez is fantastic. It's always a great pleasure, a lot of fans. Thanks to all my team, because today the bike worked very well, and proud to arrive at the first victory. I'm at the top of the championship, but I know I have difficult rivals, very strong, very hard to beat, but we are in a good shape.
Coming from all that problems we had, still it's unbelievable for me to be in the podium. I'm very, very happy and also surprised. thanks to my team. We all are having a difficult time, but we are pushing hard.
Pedrosa's fitter and faster every race. On pole for the first time this year. But the French Grand Prix is a crapshoot. The track is wet at first and then starts to dry. Races used to be stopped and restarted when conditions changed. Under the new flag-to-flag rule, the race continues and the riders have to decide for themselves when to come into the pits and switch to their second bikes, fitted with slick tyres for dry asphalt.
You have to change the bike in the right moment, no? If you change one lap later, you can lose the race.
It's a nerve-wracking decision. If the track's dry enough, slicks will be much faster. If it's still too wet, you'll feel like you're on ice. Rossi is the first to swap bikes. Too soon. Lorenzo leaves it until later. By the time he comes in, he's built a 30-second lead. When he comes back out, it's down to 7 seconds. The track's still damp. Nerves of steel required. Le Mans is a great race for a different Italian, Marco Melandri. Before Pedrosa, Stoner and Lorenzo came along, Melandri looked like the next big star. In 2005, he finished second to Valentino Rossi in the World Championship. Then he joined Ducati as Casey Stoner's teammate and finished the 2008 season in 17th place. Melandri blamed the bike. Ducati blamed Melandri. Stoner's victories suggested the bike was not the problem. In fact, the Australian's results were down to his supernatural ability. His talent was masking the machine's defects. Ducati decided there was something wrong with Melandri and brought in a psychologist. Melandri left Ducati. He joined Kawasaki for 2009. That is what was left of Kawasaki's MotoGP project. A bare-bones single-rider outfit. Team Hayate Kawasaki had last year's bike and no sponsors. But at Le Mans they had what they needed. Treacherous track conditions are an equalizer. The bike doesn't matter so much. They all have more than enough power in the wet. The race becomes a test of the rider's skill, courage and judgment. It's Melandri's chance to show what he can do. The tables turn. First Lorenzo in the gravel in Spain, and Rossi victorious. Then Rossi on the ground in France, and Lorenzo atop the podium.
It's happened. I won the race. Valentino's crash. In the best of my dreams, I didn't imagine this can happen.
4 races, 1 pole position each, 3 winners, almost even on points. Stay on the bike and stay in one piece. That's the key. Stoner, Pedrosa and Lorenzo all crashed out of races and broke bones in 2008. Rossi never fell once in 18 races. But he's crashed now. A chink in the armour, maybe. Mugello belongs to Valentino Rossi. He's won here every year since 2002. But this time it's Lorenzo on pole, Stoner beside him, and Rossi on the second row. Pedrosa is 8th. He crashed in practice. Then he had a scare in the morning warm-up session.
I had a very big, almost high side. I felt a big crack here inside, and from that point on, it was almost impossible to ride.
Just when he was getting fit. The weathers followed them from Le Mans. Lorenzo crashes before the race has even started. That'll dent your confidence.
I was so worried after my crash in the warm-up lap. Also in the start I have some problems with the spinning on the rear. Everybody overtake me and I was almost the last.
It's another flag-to-flag rodeo, this time with Marco Melandri actually taking the lead from Rossi at one point. Once the track is dried and the riders have switched to slick tyres, it's a fight to the finish between the Yamahas, the Ducati and the Honda. The Honda is not Pedrosa, it's his teammate Andrea Dovizioso. Pedrosa is down in 11th, and then he's down and out. This weekend, Casey Stoner seems a lot happier with his bike.
From the beginning I had a much better feeling, much better rhythm, making sure I wasn't making any mistakes because there's still quite a lot of water on the track.
But then,
we started having problems with the clutch. I was going down the main straight and it was just spinning out. There was no power going through the bike and I thought it was race over. I thought I burnt the clutch out somehow and we weren't going to be able to finish the race. So I just tried adjusting it as much as I could and we got it to a point where it started to grab again and go. Then we started having the bike lock up coming into the corners because we'd adjusted the clutch too far in. It was really, really difficult to ride.
Stoner now does what he can do better than anybody. He adapts to the situation and goes even faster. This could be a big day for Ducati. They've never won at their home track. Can Stoner do it? There's an Australian on the Italian throne, King Casey of the House of Ducati.
After 7 wins in a row is a pity, but the race was crazy, incredible. Anyway, the podium is better than nothing. The championship is very tight.
After my crash in the warm-up lap, the race has been like a dream. More happy than a victory.
The rain and cold are behind them. Hot sun blazes down on Barcelona.
So the race will be very, very long, especially with this condition and with this temperature. For sure, after 5-6 laps, all the bike slide and spin everywhere. So it will be a great and a hard fight.
5 races down, 2 wins apiece for Stoner and Lorenzo, only 1 for Rossi. Lorenzo has a Barcelona Football Club helmet for Catalunya. More than Jerez, this is his home race, just across the water from his family in Mallorca. Lorenzo is on pole, but Rossi's time is almost identical. That's how it's going to be this weekend. Same bikes, same lap times, same target. There are 13 corners at the Catalunya circuit. The best passing opportunities are at turn 1, turn 4, and turn 10. Turn 5 is possible but tricky. After turn 10, it's impossible to overtake unless the rider in front of you makes a mistake or leaves a gap. 3 laps to go. Heading for turn 1 at 200 miles an hour, Rossi prepares to make his move.
I dreamed about this pass for 2 weeks, in the last corner and in the last lap.
To say the truth, I didn't expect him to pass me. He was more clever or more brave.
Valentino, that last overtake, have you actually seen anybody else make an overtake at that corner?
Actually, he did it to me in 2007.
Thank you, Casey. That's what I wanted to know.
I learned my lesson already.
This was before Lorenzo was in MotoGP. 6 laps to go. Rossi passes Stoner in the final corner. Stoner went on to win the race, but Rossi played that card. He knew he could do it.
It's unbelievable, I think, never happened before. After 6 races, we are equal point, but not 2 riders, 3 riders.
3 riders on the same points after 6 races. Suddenly, one of them is in big trouble.
After just a few laps, I was completely destroyed. I was very close to pulling in the pits. The bike was working really well, but I just wasn't able to keep the pace. I couldn't brake, I was nearly falling in the front of the bike under brakes. My legs cramping, everything, my stomach.
Heat stroke? A virus? Stoner looks terrible after the race. It's a shame. He was the fastest guy out there today, set the fastest lap on lap 2. It could have been a 3-way fight. Dani Pedrosa is also walking wounded. He fractured his femur when he crashed in the Mugello race. Then he re-injured his hip when he fell in qualifying in Barcelona.
Unfortunately, it was on the right side. Again, one more shock on this area. This kind of injury needs time. Everybody knows we don't have.
Catalunya was Valentino Rossi's 99th Grand Prix victory. Can he make it 100 at the oldest circuit on the calendar? Assen is another of the world champion's favourite tracks. He's won here 7 times.
This is a special place for sure. Assen is the place with more history behind. Also, my father won here with 250.
Pedrosa and Stoner both have fitness problems. Lorenzo is the threat.
Another battle with Jorge, like in Barcelona, is too much, especially for the old people like my grandmother. I make a good start from the pole position. I try to push a lot because I know Jorge have more or less my same pace.
Pedrosa crashed out of the race. He's okay. No more damage. Casey Stoner is not okay. He finished 3rd, then went straight to the medical centre. But one man is having a great time.
Arriving to 100 is for sure something special also because I'm just the 2nd rider in all the history together with Agostini to achieve this result. He have 22 races more, so he's the greatest.
Rossi's fan club has brought a celebration banner from Italy, a very long celebration banner showing all his wins.
Flavio called me and say, please try to win in Assen because it's so long, so it's not possible to bring goals in Laguna or in other part.
The next race is on the other side of the world, in California.
I feel good and I feel fast on the bike. We hope to win some other races.
Tight, twisty, difficult. Laguna Seca hasn't been kind to Jorge Lorenzo. He crashed out on the first lap in 2008, his first race here. This year he's on pole, but he can barely walk after qualifying.
At this moment I have a lot of pain in my foot and also in my right shoulder, but I will try, you have to try.
Qualifying was almost over. Lorenzo was fastest, but he wanted more. He needed a clear track. He slowed down to let the riders ahead of him go. In those moments, his tyres cooled slightly. As the heat in the rubber decreased, so did the grip. It was the same story at a different corner for Casey Stoner.
I got held up on my lap similar to Jorge, and my tyres weren't heated up enough. Basically, as I went into that corner, it was a long entry, so I thought, I had plenty of feeling all the way into the middle of the corner. I hadn't even got on the gas yet, and the back came round, and that was it, game over. I got away with it very lucky. It hurt a heck of a lot at the time. I just got a bit of a problem in my shoulder and my groin, but we'll give it a heck of a try tomorrow.
Of the fastest 4, Rossi's the only one who's feeling fine. Dani Pedrosa comes to California from a rough weekend in Holland. Last year he missed the race here through injury, and he's riding injured again today. Tough times. But like they say, when the going gets tough, Dani Pedrosa, back on top at last.
since last year here when I couldn't race. It's been everything bad and no results. So I'm happy to be back and win a race, but especially happy for my team. All this time I was injured, I couldn't ride well. They still keep on pushing, keep on working very hard. It's been tough, but finally great race, great day and great feeling.
Stoner's condition is perplexing. Last year he was on pole by a mile and then fought that epic battle with Rossi.
The bike's working so well and I'm just not able to ride it hard enough. Not even halfway through, you know, my arms got to a certain point where I couldn't do anything more and I just had to let everybody through and give up basically, because there was no way I could outbrake anybody or keep up with anybody the way I was doing it. I take the corners however I can at the moment. As soon as I start getting fatigued, it's just however you can get through them, you got to get through them. My braking points are getting way too early, so I'm losing a lot of time there, and my entry points, I'm not able to enter the corners quite as late to get a good exit. We're going on Monday to find out what's wrong with me.
Sachsenring, Germany, where Dani Pedrosa's odyssey of pain began a year ago. The pressure's building. Rossi's edging ahead in the championship. Lorenzo's gone 4 races without a win. There are rumours he'll leave Yamaha at the end of the year. But this is a track which Lorenzo likes, and Rossi does not.
This is not Barcelona. This track is so difficult to overtake and have 1, maximum 2 points.
Rossi may not like the track, but it plays to his strength in braking.
Maybe I lose in some flowing part of the track, but I was very strong in the braking.
As the laps count down, Stoner fades and Lorenzo attacks.
I did some mistakes. The first one was not to attack before. Maybe if my attack was come earlier, I could open a little gap. I thought also another mistake. I thought there were more laps to go to the end. So this was my second mistake. Anyway, Valentino has been very brave, and I have to congratulate his victory.
How was your shoulder?
Not still 100%. Maybe after Donington I will start to train again, and I will be more prepared, I think.
Like Lorenzo, the other riders have an eye on their futures. If you want to get hired, you need to get noticed. Starting from the back of the grid, Tony Elias sets out to do just that. So does Marco Melandri. Kawasaki is quitting MotoGP. He needs a new home. The English weather steps in to shake things up. Wet or dry, who knows? Stoner opts for wet tyres. The Australian is praying for rain. He's still in bad shape, and a wet race would be less demanding.
I thought I'd take the risk and see what happens for this race, because we're in a much better situation in the wet, and physically it's a lot easier for me. We're lost at the moment. The bike's working well. It's just disappointing that we're not able to give Ducati the results that it really deserves.
It doesn't rain enough for the wet tyres to give Stoner an advantage. He finishes 14th. Pedrosa is a cautious 9th. Lorenzo and Rossi both crash. The conditions and the crashes give the other riders a shot at the podium. Colin Edwards and Andrea Dovizioso stick to the first principle of motorcycle racing. Stay on the bike. Bad news for Lorenzo. Rossi is not just riding better than him, he's also crashing better than him. The Italian is able to rejoin the race, while Lorenzo's bike is too badly damaged to continue. Rossi's now back in 11th. He's got 10 laps to move up the order. Rossi's 5th place puts him 25 points clear of Lorenzo.
I was lucky because it was just a small crash. 11 points are like gold for the championship.
Yeah, for sure, he has been a little bit lucky. My bike was completely destroyed. This is not over. There is 7 races to the end. Things can change.
Back on track after the summer break for the race in the Czech Republic, Rossi, Lorenzo and Pedrosa are on the front row. Casey Stoner is in Australia. Under doctor's orders, he's withdrawn from the next 3 races. The MotoGP world is stunned. Casey Stoner is stopping for 2 months because he's tired. Tough guy motorcycle racers don't do that. They race with broken bones. They never give up.
You know, people just don't understand that, you know, when you're not competitive and you're getting worse each race, there's no sense to just keep going. You know, you've got to stop, find the problem and fix it. You know, if a bike isn't running right and you're nowhere near competitive, you have to stop, try and fix it and continue. So it's no different when the human body, and, you know, this is what we needed to do.
The championship is now a straight fight between Rossi and Lorenzo. Rossi makes a great start, but Lorenzo hunts him down. With 6 laps to go, he's on Rossi's tail.
I know that Jorg is very strong. From the pace on the practice, he was also faster than us, but we make a good modify after the warm-up. I have a better feeling with the front of my bike. When you overtake me, I was ready for the battle.
When I catch him, I tried to open a gap, but I was struggling a lot and was a little bit tired. So I did a mistake in one braking and I crashed. For sure, the championship is almost impossible.
It's adding up. The mistakes, the crashes, the injuries, the pressure, the points, the difference between Lorenzo and Rossi, the difference between ambition and achievement. Pedrosa follows Rossi home. With Lorenzo and Stoner out, there's room for one more on the podium. Andrea Dovizioso or Tony Elias? Who's it gonna be?
Today is very tough because Jorg in the practice go with a fantastic rhythm. So I try to make the perfect race, great start, push like a devil, more than 100%. Thanks to Jerry, to my team and to Yamaha, because today the bike was perfect. We have to stay concentrated, keep pushing because the championship is so long. We have 50 points of advantage, but for sure in 2 weeks in Indianapolis, Lorenzo try another time to arrive in front of us.
Lorenzo shows up at Indianapolis as Captain America, a show of confidence. He's re-signed with Yamaha for 2010. And he wants the boss's job.
We can win still, but it's a difficult point. Our goal is to enjoy, try to get some podiums and some victories if possible.
Danny Pedrosa is fit, strong and fastest in every practice session. He makes a flying start. Then he goes a little too fast. Now it's another Yamaha duel.
after Donington and Brno, to be here in the first position and to see Vale and Danny crash. Oh, this is fantastic for me and for the team. We'll see what happened. The championship was almost impossible before this race. Now it's difficult, but it's possible.
There are 2 more places available on the podium. Alex De Angelis is chasing his best result of the year. Meanwhile, national pride is at stake in the fight between Texas Tornado Colin Edwards and Kentucky kid Nicky Hayden on the second Ducati. Valentino Rossi is an ass. This is the champion's opinion of his performance at Indianapolis, and it's given him and his friend the designer Aldo Drudi an idea.
After the race, I call Aldo and they say, we lose the 25 points, but we find the right idea for Misano.
There's only one result the people of Rossi's homeland will accept. Their hero will have to fight for it.
I hope to make a better start and try to go in front, but unfortunately Danny overtake me and also Tony at the first corner, and Jorge also at the end of the first lap. So I was fourth, and I was a little bit in trouble with a lot of fuel, not confident at 100%. So I decided to take my rhythm, to put the right temperature on the tires and start to push. So it was a great race, a great battle with Jorge, with Tony, and also with Danny at the end. It was a perfect weekend.
I knew that it's going to be a difficult race. Vale have all the weekend the best pace. It's good, second position.
4 races to go. Rossi has a 30-point advantage, 100 points still on the table. He's not safe yet. Casey Stoner is back, not fully recovered from the sound of it, but fit enough to ride.
Physically much better. I mean, I've got sore arms. I haven't been riding a lot recently. I'm actually riding well. I can pick up the bike. It was a really good feeling.
The worst possible scenario for Rossi would be 4 races where Lorenzo, Stoner and Pedrosa finish ahead of him. That would wipe out his lead. Stranger things have happened.
We can take risks, we don't have anything to lose. Valentino have to win the championship, and we have to try it. That is not impossible.
The results are exactly what Rossi didn't want. The other 3 in front of him. The gap is down to 18 points. 3 races to go, 75 points on the table, and Casey Stoner's back in business.
It's a big relief for me, and I can walk, I can talk, and I feel pretty good.
Lorenzo has history on his mind. His helmet is a tribute to Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon.
I wanted to celebrate it like Armstrong, because this year is the 40 years after the first travel to the moon.
One small step for a man, a giant leap for the would-be world champion. Maybe.
This is the key moment for understanding who we become champion.
Whatever happens, Lorenzo has to beat Rossi. His championship hinges on that.
We don't have any strategy. The only strategy is try to win every race and try to be aggressive, but at the same time clever, because I don't want to crash and get hurt. I did a good start, but I was very close to Nicky. I touched Nicky and my front brake broke and I couldn't brake. could be worse. The thing that important me the most is my health, no? And now I'm a little bit less healthy.
It's over for Lorenzo. Meanwhile, Stoner's fit and Stoner's quick, flying the Australian colours for his home race. He won here in 2007 and 2008. Fast and flowing, the layout plays to his strengths.
I really enjoyed fast corners, corners that were always a little bit scary. And the quickest I've been through there at the slowest point in the corner was 258 kilometres an hour. That's quick to be sort of going sideways through a corner.
The Australian's looking to make it a hat-trick of home wins. And Valentino Rossi is looking to stop him. This time, there are no fitness worries for the man in front.
Every lap that I kept going past the point where I used to just hit my wall, it was, it made me smile.
But as the race goes on, he finds himself struggling with the bike.
The bike is turning unbelievable, it's amazing, I've got a great feeling with the front, but as soon as I try and load up the rear a little bit, it just doesn't want to hook up. It's something we've been struggling with all year, and it just sort of magnifies the problem once we come to a fast circuit like this with long corners.
Little by little, Rossi is closing in. Casey Stoner takes centre stage for the day. Then it's straight on to Malaysia. Valentino Rossi hasn't quite won the World Championship yet. He needs a handful more points to put it beyond Lorenzo's reach. It doesn't matter which position. Rossi just needs to finish ahead of Lorenzo. It's been dry all weekend, but the race is wet.
Everybody have to start without any laps on this condition.
Lorenzo qualifies second, but just to underline that this is not his year, he has to start from the back of the grid after a problem with his bike.
I want to try to arrive on the podium for the championship. I make a good start, but unfortunately I arrive too deep on the first corner.
Rossi emerges from turn 1 in 8th position. Then Lorenzo overtakes him. Another win for Stoner, and another World Championship for Valentino Rossi, his 9th.
I have the same enjoyment. I fight a lot with the young guns. In the past, the situation was the opposite, but now I am the older of the first 4 guys.
Older maybe, but still an Italian country boy at heart.
The hen, when become old, doesn't make any more egg, but make another one. 9.
We tried to the end to beat him, but he was the number 1 this year because he has been faster than us. In almost every race, he was more regular than us and he was more clever. So.
Following his victories in Australia and Malaysia, Casey Stoner takes pole position in Valencia. And then he crashes on the warm-up lap. The Australian's strangely sensational season is at an end. In case anybody had forgotten, Dani Pedrosa reminds the world that on his day, there is nobody faster on a MotoGP bike. It's a great day for Dani Pedrosa and a satisfying result for Rossi. The 2009 world champion looks back on a year when he had to fight harder and smarter than ever before.
I won 6 times this year, so it means that it's a difficult season, but we have a lot of emotion, good and bad emotion. I have great rivals, especially this year. Jorg make a great job and put a lot of pressure on us. We did some great battle. The overtake in Barcelona on the last corner was unforgettable for me.
What makes Valentino Rossi so special? The numbers speak for themselves. He's won 9 world championships. He's won world titles in more categories than anybody in history. 125, 250, 500, MotoGP. He's won the Premier class on 2 different makes of bike. The second of them, the Yamaha, was a certified loser until he got on it. It hadn't finished on the podium in over a year. What else? The fact that he makes it look easy when it's incredibly difficult. Simple when it's fiendishly complicated. And flat out fun when it's life-threateningly dangerous. The fact that he doesn't just race hard, but puts on a show. He's the motorcycle racer your mother would love, and millions around the world do. He's a crowd-pleasing, good-time-loving maniac. Mad, bad and dangerous, but also quick-witted, charming and funny. A 1 in a million, once in a lifetime, one-of-a-kind superstar. Unless you're Jorge Lorenzo, Danny Pedrosa, or Casey Stoner. In which case Valentino Rossi is simply a bigger problem for you than you are for him. But there's always next year.